Hello dear, welcome once again. In this video, I am going to explain you the contents of the poem Lochinvar, written by Walter Scott. Lochinvar is a fictional character, a bold, courageous knight. Lochinvar fell in love with Ellen, the daughter of the Lord of Netherby. Lochinvar is from Scotland and Ellen is from England. They are at the border districts. Lochinvar loved Ellen for a long time. He wooed her and he was one of the suitors. He expressed his desire of marrying Ellen, but her father did not agree to it. And Ellen's parents forced her to accept somebody else. Ellen is not so bold enough to oppose her parents. She consented for the marriage, not wholeheartedly, because of the force from the parents. The man whom they chose was not at all a match for Ellen. He was neither courageous nor good looking, but still it was parents' force that she accepted. Lochinvar came to know about the marriage of Ellen. He rushed to the Netherby Hall where the marriage was to be solemnized and lifts her from there in front of everyone. How could he lift her in the presence of so many people over there? Is very interesting. Now I will take up the poem line by line. It is in a ballad form. Oh, young Lochinvar is come out of the west. Now some people have misinterpreted this. He is coming out of the west as a sun, a brighter sun, and it is a metaphor. I don't think so. Logically, you think the sun doesn't come out of the west, the sun comes out from the east. So, if he had used east, then it would have been better. Therefore, I say the interpretation is not correct. Here, Lochinvar is not compared to the sun, it is something different. Here it is. He has come from the west, means this is the wide border between England and Scotland, and here is the Netherby Hall. Even now also it is there, and from here he is coming into England, crossing the border. Through all wide border, his steed was the best. Steed means a war horse or a quick moving horse. He is riding very fast. This means there is an urgency. So there were many other travelers who were traveling with him, but the swiftest horse was Lochinvar's. And save his good broadsword, he weapons had none. Save means except. Except one broad sword, he did not have any other weapons. He rode all unarmored and rode all alone. Normally, we say unarmed means without any weapons. Here, armed is again misinterpreted. If somebody carries a weapon, he is armed. I think it is not armed, it is armored. That means there is thing which is protecting his body. The protection, armor we say. So there is no armor. That means in plain clothes, he came there without any armor. According to his plan, picking up Ellen from there is a risky job. But when he came there, he came unarmored, that is, in a plain clothes. So faithful in love, so dauntless in war. That means his love was true love. He had a lot of faith in Ellen. And he was dauntless, means fearless. He was very courageous. He wanted to accomplish his task single-handedly. There never was a knight like the young Lochinvar. So bold, so courageous. He stayed not for break and he stayed not for stone. Here, break can have two meanings. It means he did not stop for taking any break for him, that is rest. Geographically, it means that it is a thicket or a dense undergrowth. It means that he rode across very difficult terrain. And this interpretation seems to be correct because further he says stone. Stone here means mountain or hill, and no obstacle could stop him. So he overcame all the obstacles. He swam the Esk River where food there was none. This shows that the river was deep. He could not wade across the river. That means he could not walk. He had to swim. This shows how hard his journey was. But ere he alighted at Netherby gate, the bride had consented. The gallant came late. Ere means before. So before he alighted, that means got down of his horse, Ellen had already consented for the marriage. And I believe that it was because of the force. Maybe Ellen had waited for some times, but Lochinvar was not in time. For a laggard in love and a dastard in war was to wed the fair Ellen of brave Lochinvar. Ellen of brave Lochinvar, it is said. That means she was made for him. But because of the force, she accepted the marriage and it was to be solemnized at the Netherby Hall. And here the poet says that the fiancé whom Ellen had to marry was a lazy man, not at all courageous. He was a timid person, not at all a match for Ellen. So boldly he entered the Netherby Hall among bridesmen and kinsmen and brothers and all. So as the marriage was to be solemnized, all the relatives, friends were there in the Netherby Hall. In the presence of all these men, Lochinvar entered the hall. You must know that he was already known to that family. Everybody knew that he wooed Ellen and he wanted to marry her. Then spoke the bride's father, his hand on his sword. When Ellen's father saw Lochinvar, he was very angry. Straightway his hand went to the hilt of the sword. For the poor craven bridegroom said never a word. For here means because. The bridegroom was so very timid that he did not say even a word. He had to say something to Lochinvar. Actually, he had to protest. As he did not say anything, Ellen's father had to say something. Oh, come you in peace here or come you in war? Ellen's father is asking whether he had come in peace. It means after compromising, or in war. That means whether he has come here to quarrel, to fight, or to dance at our bridal, young Lord Lochinvar. He is asking a question whether he had come there to have a dance. Actually, this is a sarcastic question. Now, Lochinvar says, I long wooed your daughter. I loved your daughter for a very long time. My suit you denied. When I put my proposal for the marriage, you as a father should have accepted it. But you denied that. It means it's not that he was only loving her. He wanted to marry her also. He was a suitor. Love swells like the Solvi, but ebbs like its tide. Solvi is a river. Lochinvar is comparing his love to swelling of the river, and also says that it ebbs. Ebbs means recedes, comes down, but it takes time. As I told you that he was very courageous, that doesn't mean that he was unwise. He has some plan, a different plan to pick Ellen from there. Therefore, he is telling this. And now am I come with this lost love of mine. Here is very interesting. Now he is not telling that he has come here to take Ellen away from here. He says that he has come here as a compromise. He says that he has already lost the chance. Therefore, he is telling it as a lost love. That means he has already lost Ellen. To lead but one measure. That means to have one dance at the party. Drink one cup of wine. And while party is going on, it is natural that he will have a cup of wine. There are maidens in Scotland more lovely by far. That means if he wants to marry someone else, then there are hundreds of beautiful maids. He says those girls whom he can marry are far better than Ellen, that would gladly be bride to the young Lochinvar. He is giving the hint here that he is no more interested in Ellen. He says he has innumerable choice. He has better choice. Actually, he is telling all these things to fool the people who are around there. He is telling as though he has lost his love and there is no hope, and simply he has come to join the party and have some wine and dance and go off. Actually, it is false. He is making everybody fool. His plan is something different. But by telling this, he is making everybody believe that he is no more interested in stopping this marriage. The bride kissed the goblet. The knight took it up, that is, the container where we put wine, this one. The bride took a goblet and poured the wine in it, and first she kissed it before giving it to Lochinvar. This is a token of love. Quaffed off the wine and he threw down the cup. Quaffed off means he swallowed the wine in one go, one gulp, and threw the goblet down. She looked down to blush. This shows that she was very happy to see Lochinvar there. So she had a hope now. She wants to hide that blushing. Therefore, she bows down her head so that others would not come to know what expressions she has after seeing Lochinvar. And she looked up to sigh. So when she looked up, she had a sorrowful face. This is only to show the people that she is sorrowful. With a smile on her lips and a tear in her eye. That means there are mixed reactions. Actually, it is only one. The other is just show off. She is very happy that Lochinvar is here, but she shows that she is unhappy. He took her soft hand ere her mother could bar. It means before Ellen's mother stopped him from touching her, he had already caught her hand. Now tread we a measure, said young Lochinvar. Now young Lochinvar is telling Ellen to dance with him. So stately his form, that means his physique was so very attractive. He had a royal look, and so lovely her face. Ellen's face was also so lovely, that never a hall such a Gillard did grace. It means to say that the people never saw such a lovely pair which was dancing. While her mother did fret, fret means afraid. Ellen's mother was afraid because she had suspicion that Lochinvar could cause some trouble, and her father did fume. Fume means becoming very angry because he's a man. Now he also expected some problem from Lochinvar. Therefore, he was angry. And the bridegroom stood dangling his bonnet and plume. This is bonnet and plume. As the bridegroom was very timid, he was shaking, therefore his bonnet was dangling. And the bride maidens whispered, "It were better by far to have matched our fair cousin with young Lochinvar." That is, Ellen's friends or Ellen's cousins, Ellen's relatives, those girls, maidens, they whispered, Ellen should have married Lochinvar because they were made for each other. A very good pair. One touch to her hand and one word in her ear. When he took her hand, he whispered something into her ear. That is, he must have told that she should be ready to elope from there and that he is going to ride her away from there. When they reached the hall door and the chargers stood near, that means as he had already planned, he made it sure that his horse is standing very near to the door so that very quickly he could take Ellen from there. So light the croup, the fair lady he swung. It means he lifted Ellen so lightly and so swiftly that he put her on the croup. Croup means just behind the saddle, on the horseback. So light to the saddle, before her he sprung. That means before she was put on the horseback, he had already jumped, putting her on the horseback and jumping and taking his position on the saddle were almost simultaneous. So swift was his movement. She is one. Now he is declaring to everyone that he has won her. We are gone over bank, bush, and score. He is declaring that they are eloping, and it is almost like a challenge to the others. Here he says that they don't take any regular road, they will be on the river banks. Score means a steep edged rock. They will have fleet steeds that follow, quoth young Lochinvar. And Lochinvar is telling Ellen that people will follow him, they will be chased. There was mounting among Grimace of the Netherby clan, Forsters, Swanwicks, and Musgraves. They all rode and they ran. Now, the Scott is taking some names of the clans who were the friends and relatives of the Lord of Netherby. Many of these kinsmen mounted their horses and they were chasing Lochinvar. They rode and they ran. That means some of them took their horses and they rode, while some others who just ran. Maybe you can think it like that. They were going by shortcuts in any mountainous terrain where it is not very easy to take the horse. There was racing and chasing on Canobili. So this is the grassland. All of them rode so very fast that it looked like a race. But the lost bride of Netherby never did they see. Lochinvar raced his horse so swiftly that nobody could chase him. The bride would never come back. That means now the Netherby has lost Ellen. So daring in love, so dauntless in war. Have you ever heard of a gallant like young Lochinvar? War. Again, this is repeated to show that how courageous this young knight was. This requires a true love. This requires a deep faith in love. That's what Lochinvar had. Now the poet is asking whether the readers have heard of such a great, gallant lover, Lochinvar. That means he was the best. He was a legend. He stood for faithful love. He was very courageous. I hope you have understood this well. Your comments are welcome. You can also have the explanation in Kannada and Hindi. So the Hindi version will be uploaded in my other channel, English Needs, without any gap, like this. You will get my channel. There I am uploading this. Thank you for watching this video.